Remember, if it's weird, if it's paranormal, if it's supernatural, it's in the Y-Files. Premonitions aren't usually invited. They very often come in the form of dreams. Take this example from Barbara Garwell, who had a strange experience regarding the death of Arthur Lowe.
I was watching Arthur Lowe out of Dad's Army, a really lovely man, I thought. And he was being interviewed on Pebble Mill at 1, which is a live programme. And he was smiling, and then I'd look at the set and I think, well, it's an empty chair. I called Roland in and I said, Arthur Lowe is sat there, he is being interviewed. So Roland said, yes, he's happy. He said, he will die. He will die soon. Maybe today, but soon. And my sister-in-law and Roland's brother were down for the evening. And they were just about to leave at midnight. We turned the news on and it stated that Arthur Lowe had died.
Barbara also had a vision of the fire at Windsor Castle.
I described as I saw, which looked like the Queen Mother, and it seemed to be this beautiful doorway she was stood in. And as I seemed to look to the back of her, it was like a wooded forest, and in, what do I say, intense heat. But it was a forest-like, I didn't think about Windsor Castle. All I could see was the density of the trees and an inferno. Now, the next day I wrote this down because there was nothing else. But 3 nights after that, again I was in the wooded, in this dense forest. I saw not the Queen Mother in a doorway, but I saw just as if she just had the face anywhere it could have been. And when I woke up, I said to Roland, there will be a big fire involving the royal family.
Of course, we only have Barbara's word for her premonitions. We don't have any physical evidence to back it up. But one man who does have physical evidence is Dave Mandel. He predicted a plane crash during the Bosnian War. He is now so accustomed to his premonitions that he's now taken to drawing a picture of his vision and taking it down to his local bank, where he's photographed in front of a clock and a calendar. Take, for example, this story of his of the Watford train crash.
It was simply the day before the crash itself that I had the dream. And I did a very quick colour sketch of it, and I saw the train itself with another red train with a red front coming from the other direction. Crossing over on a sort of like a point system onto the line that we were on. And there was a lady who was very distressed talking to me in the dream, who was on the train, and I was on the train as well, as an observer, sort of thing. And then the crash happened, and there was bits of train flying about, and there was a carriage that flew over the top of us into the air, and a lot of red liquid about, which obviously was blood, and it was quite horrendous. I knew it was a very, very bad train smash. It ended with sort of sort of like a nighttime scene with oxyacetylene welding equipment and stuff being used to cut coaches free and things like that. And I just knew it was a bad dream. I knew it was an event dream because there was a lot of colour in it, and I'm so used to having these event dreams. Now I can pick them out if something's going to happen. I very quickly took it down to the bank at Sudbury Hill, where I have a facility to have these dreams photographed with me holding them against the bank display there. And the remarkable thing, and frightening and unnerving, in fact, for me, and for the bank girl who took the photograph, was that the crash happened 3/4 of an hour after she took the photograph.
So what's going on here?
I'm not sure what's going on here, but some people certainly do appear to have premonitions, and they're all types of people. The only thing that I can ascertain is that they are rather emotional compared to most other people. In other words, they're more sensitive. As to what is actually happening at a philosophical level, no one knows.
Not all our witnesses, though, are full of tales of doom and gloom. Our next witness says that his mysterious mental powers of precognition actually gained him some positive results.
I think the final and the most interesting dream that I had was in 1965, when I actually saw the race and heard the commentary. And I can hear it now today, and I can see the race as clear as I can see you. I was standing at the winning post at a racecourse in Durban called Greyville Racecourse. Never been there to this day, and yet I know that it was Greyville Racecourse. And I watched the race, the whole race, heard the commentary, and I heard the commentator say, right towards the end of the race, and now with 100 yards to go, it's King Willow. King Willow has just won the 1965 Rothmans Durban July Handicap. And I woke up. The day the race came, we were sitting glued to the radio, and the commentator never mentioned King Willow until just before the end he said, and now with 100 yards to go, it's King Willow coming up straight. King Willow has just won the 1965 Rothmans Durban July Handicap.
Under standard realism, which is what governs science at the moment, you can't get an effect before a cause, but that's precisely what is happening with premonitions.
OK, but surely if all of us had the ability to predict the future, we'd all be picking the winning lottery numbers, wouldn't we?
This is Gail Jones, and I actually predicted Barbara Martin's lottery win. I saw it in the cards and I gave her the numbers, and she won £2.7 million.
The odds of winning the jackpot on the National Lottery are 14 million to 1.
Barbara definitely got what I now call the lottery card, because this, in old-fashioned terms, used to mean inheritance and riches. It always means riches and wealth. And I just knew, I actually did know that she was going to win the lottery.
14 million to 1.
Barbara got up, put her coat on to go, and I had this desperate feeling that I had to do something more to help her. And I just said spontaneously to Barbara, can I just give you some lottery numbers? And she said, well, how? And I just said, well, if I can hold your car keys. The numbers just came through my head very sort of easily, and I just wrote just 2 lines down and just gave her the numbers and her car keys back, and she sort of left, and then she used the numbers and she won £2.7 million, which was quite incredible. She has been in touch with me. It's a very strange thing, because I actually said to her at the time, she said, if I win, I'll give you something. And I said, no, you must promise that you won't give me anything, because if you say you're going to give me any of the money, you won't win anything. Because if you're clairvoyant, you can't win money. And I've never won anything, ever.
Can we know the future? Is the future so laid out? Sounds horribly fatalistic, doesn't it? But these people really do believe that they have glimpsed the future. And Dave Mandel even seems to have physical evidence. But what does this say about our perceptions of reality?
If premonitions really happen, then science has got it completely wrong. Our whole concept of the nature of the universe is wrong, because premonitions cannot fit into a physical universe. You can't get a cause before an effect. It's absolutely physically impossible. And yet, premonitions do exist. Unfortunately, at that point, science says, well, okay, we can't study them because they can't exist. Science progresses when an impertinent person asks a very impertinent question, like, does the physical universe really exist? And to me, I do ask that question. And if premonitions exist, the physical universe cannot exist.
Well, do we have to throw out our entire conception of what reality is just because a few people are able to look a little way into the future? Or maybe not. Maybe there is a scientific explanation out there waiting to be discovered. Explanations not only for telepathy, but premonitions, psychic powers, and other abilities. Maybe one day we'll all be encouraged to nurture and develop our own mysterious mental powers.